Are you stuck in a rut? If you are, I'm going to share with you 4 mindset shifts that as a therapist and a mindset coach, they have changed and transformed my life. And I know they can change and transform yours. So here they are. We all have limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns that can hold us back from achieving our goals and honestly living our best lives. The first mindset shift that I made was to stop focusing on the future and focus more on the present moment. You're probably thinking, how? Like, I live in constant anxiety and I cannot just stay present and enjoy my life. It's hard. I'm constantly thinking about the future. I get it. I was like that myself. I would constantly feel this just overwhelming sensation to constantly look at the future, constantly be alert, but it wasn't serving me. What I did is that instead of worrying about the past or the future, I started focusing on what's happening right now. And one of the practical ways that I did that was practicing gratitude. One of the practical ways was also not making super long-term goals. And if I did do those long-term goals, I set the intention that those goals would change. And I would check in with myself every month to see, like, does this still serve me? Does this still hold any value for me? Will it continue to give value in my life? Those were some ways that I was able to just stay present. I think even focusing on small little things like not having my phone while I'm at dinner, not having my phone while I'm watching a movie, that is still something I'm working on, because I feel like constantly we can be in our phones and it takes away our attention from the present moment. It constantly makes us feel like we have to be doing something it feels like we have to be holding our phone in order to do something. And I think it could make us feel like, oh, I need this in order to not feel anxious. But trust me, if you give yourself a chance to maybe put your phone away before you go to bed, or when you first thing in the morning, you do not look at your phone. That is you practicing staying present. That is you practicing not worrying about the future. The future will come. The day is going to come. And so it's important that you do focus on this. This really helped me just be more present and enjoy the moments that I was living. The second mindset shift that really changed my life was to let go of perfectionism. I used to be a perfectionist and it was holding me back. I was always trying to make everything perfect and it was exhausting. But when I let go of the need for perfection, I was able to be more creative, more spontaneous, and it made my life much better. Some of the practical things that you can do in order to let go of perfectionism is learning how to sit with mistakes and learning how to forgive yourself for those mistakes. I think as perfectionists, we tend to not want to have a negative outcome. And so we're constantly feeling like, okay, if I am not perfect, then there's a conflict involved. There's a fear of failure. There's a fear of my failure may be permanent, and it's not always the case. So I learned to enjoy just being done. Like if I had a task, I'd rather much have it done than have it perfect. Perfect I knew would make me spend hours on a task or like editing a video. While if I just said that done is better than perfect, human is better than perfect, then I am able to live my life. I'm able also to adjust the next time. If I've made a mistake on a video, if I've made a mistake in life, I know that I could take that information, look at the evidence, and look at what I can adjust for next time. So powerful to be able to learn from our mistakes so that we do not repeat them. Or if we do repeat them, maybe there's still more that needs to be learned from that mistake or that lesson learned. Letting go of perfectionism, it allowed me to put out more things that I wanted, and I was able to take the leap into entrepreneurship. Like there's so many amazing things that letting go of perfectionism allowed me to do. I no longer felt like super anxious when, I don't know about you if you've ever had the situation where if you have people coming over, you like want to clean everything, every nook and cranny, because you think that they're going to, like your friends are going to judge you. And for me, I started letting go of that mindset. Like, what? It's like I'm spending a whole day cleaning when I don't necessarily have to. I could only do a small cleanup and my friends would be okay with that. So it's just one of those things that there's like major benefits to making this shift that we do not realize. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you struggle with, and maybe you would want to know a little bit more of practical ways to let go of perfectionism. Shift number 3, and I feel like this was the major moment in my life where when I started focusing on this, life was just so much better, and that was focusing on gratitude. I started to appreciate the things that I had instead of always wanting more. And not because I don't want to strive for more, but because if we don't really allow ourselves to feel grateful and appreciative for the things that we have, we're constantly going to be looking at others and comparing ourselves to others and feeling dissatisfied with our life. Instead, I looked at what do I have now? And if I looked at other people, I would see it as inspiration for where I could be. But I would also allow myself to just be where I was and appreciate the moments that life is giving me. Don't get me wrong, there were some days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish my business would grow. I wish that my fitness journey went faster. Yeah, those are all thoughts that I had. But if you want to truly have good things come to you and to truly feel happiness in the moment, then gratitude is the best practice that you can incorporate in your morning routine, your night routine, wherever fits well for you, because it's going to really change the game for you. Comparison will no longer be a thing. You will be able to have the tools to not feel the need to compare yourself to someone else's life because you appreciate the life that you were given and the life that you have. And I think this is very important too. If you've ever, I know sometimes there are circumstances beyond our control that make us not appreciate life. And I get that because as a therapist, I know that there are traumatic experiences that made us believe that we cannot be satisfied with our life. And so I do tell you to do the work if this is something, if you constantly catch yourself thinking about the past or thinking about the past as something that affected your now, or thinking about the past as something that is continuing to hold you back, then really do the work to unpack those experiences because those are important. Our past can really tell us about our now. The now is what we know. The now is what we can make a change for. The future, we don't know what's going to happen, right? So focusing on gratitude is so important. I think if there's any shift that you definitely want to focus on, it's gratitude. And then the fourth and final shift I made was to be kinder to myself. I was shit on myself so much. I've had several clients who I know struggle with this too, shitting all over yourself, saying so many unkind things to yourself. I used to be really hard on myself, and it would take a toll on my mental health. I would say, oh, you're so dumb. Oh, you should have done this. Oh, someone else is doing better. Those kinds of things that criticizing myself wasn't actually going to make me get to my goal any faster, but that's what I thought would. When we're kind to ourselves, we open up the door to truly see ourselves as human beings and to truly be empathetic to our situation. I often find that clients struggle. Well, someone else has something even bigger that they're going through, and I should just be grateful that, there's a time and a place to be grateful about where you're at, but also a place they can still coexist. You can be grateful for where you're at, and you still deserve kindness. You still deserve to tell yourself nice things because it's going to impact your day. It's going to impact your life. The more that we are able to shift our negative automatic thoughts or thinking or self-talk, we are able to make major progress towards ourselves, towards loving ourselves, towards forgiving ourselves, towards doing all these things, right? To allowing ourselves to be present when we are unkind to ourselves and we continue to judge ourselves. it only makes it even harder to do the thing that we want to set out for. But when I started to be kind to myself and let go of that self-judgment, I was able to be more compassionate and understanding. And I feel like we all can be more compassionate and understanding humans. The mindset shifts that I mentioned have made a huge impacts on my life, on my clients' life, and I constantly teach them how to focus on these 4 areas, these 4 shifts, because it can majorly change the trajectory of your life. If you love videos like this, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button, that you consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in my next video.